going to go ahead and start with your case.
Okay.
All right, good morning. My name is Parole Officer Boysford. Today is Friday, December 20th, 2024. This hearing of Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. Following board members are present this morning and by stating their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Mike Cole.
Good morning, Ellen Zappo Sasu.
Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
373814.
Thank you. And can you please state your full name?
Maria Hernandez.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of parole application for Maria Hernandez, inmate number 373814. He's serving a sentence of 3 years for violation of probation with violation of protective order and failure to appear first as the underlying offenses. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility date of March 11th, 2024. There is no victim input in the case. There's a better accountability plan that has been viewed. It shows that she is currently in the Tier 4 program and has a job. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment Warrant, the offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the moderate range. Ms. Hernandez, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe she granted parole. You may begin.
I want to parole because they give me another chance to come into society and I can rehabilitate like in a free world again. I make a lot of mistakes, but I know what is that mean the law. I make a lot of mistakes, but I did all the programs they asked me to do. They asked me to finish the program, Marilyn Baker. I finished. They told me that I don't have to have any tickets. I don't have no tickets at all. And I finished all my meetings. And I have letters from my job that I've been working for 2 years without missing one day and working extra hours. I have my boss and my counselor. They are okay with me to get on parole.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hernandez. So this is
Thank
your second time before us. Officer Boysford, my records indicate that she finished Tier 4 on November
Yes.
14th. Did you finish Tier 4? Yeah, November 14th.
Yes,
Okay.
finish it. This is my diploma right here.
Okay, I mean, my eyes aren't that great any longer.
I know.
So, but I appreciate it. Thank you. You know how this works. We're going to ask you some questions, okay? And then we'll talk
Yes.
about your case and give you our decision. We'll begin with
Thank
my
you.
colleague, Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Ms. Hernandez.
Good morning.
So the last panel was satisfied with your progress, except they
Yes.
wanted to see you go through and do the tier program, which you've done. Can you talk a little bit about what you learned in that Tier 4 program that's going to help you when you're released?
Yeah. I applied for a halfway house because I don't have nowhere to go. So it's gonna be a nice therapy, being clean and going IOP treatment because that's what they do when you go to halfway house. So I'm gonna be working like I love to work, so it's not gonna be complicated to find a job. I like everything. The important part, I like to work so I can pay my bills.
Okay, when it comes to ongoing recovery plan, what do you plan to do when you're in the community?
Oh, when I have I love NAs and MA women's meetings. I love to go up there and then IOP. So my record is still clean. I'm very open minded to go to all the meetings that I know because I've been going over there before. I used to have a meeting close to my house. I have 7 days meetings. They have women's meetings. They have candles meeting, NA, NAAA. So I know all the meetings around that I can go and participate.
Have you been introduced to CCAR while you've been in?
Yeah, no, they never ever, I never have the opportunity to have that, but they came here and talked to me and they give me a bunch of papers so I can call them when I'm in the halfway house.
Okay, that's really important.
Yes.
Because the recovery coach knows the resources in the community. I know that with what you just said, you know where a lot of the resources are,
Yes.
but a recovery coach can help you with things that you might need.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what they told me. Thank you.
And Bridgeport has one of the strongest CCAR recovery community centers in the state.
Yeah, and that's what I applied for. Apply for Bridgeport.
Okay. And certainly, you know, the big thing with why you're here is because you didn't do what you needed to do when you're on probation.
Yes, I was
So-
like,
Yeah, I read it. It's okay.
okay, all right.
And your commitment to it now and what you're doing with work and you haven't missed a day in 2 years and
Yes,
you've worked extra hours and things like that. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, right?
yes, I love to work.
Just
I
gotta
love
keep doing that. Okay?
Yes, I will. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
No more questions.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Ms. Hernandez, you've done well since your last hearing.
Yes.
You did the programs, you stayed out of trouble. You already discussed the ticket with the last panel. So we're not going to talk about that again, but
All right.
have you done an intensive outpatient program in the past?
Yes, I did.
Where
I
did you do
did.
that?
I did a liberation in Stamford.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And,
Good. And it was helpful for you?
And that's helpful because it keep me to 3 months out of keep going my situation of the addiction.
Yeah.
I don't have no plans to go back to my addiction because I'm very old. I'm 50 years old and it's time to go.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
my
not
life
very
is-
old. Kidding.
No, but to play games like that,
I
I'm
understand.
not that age.
Yeah. So
It's not
listen,
my
Ms.
age.
Hernandez, it appears to me that your violation was really because you got complacent.
Yes.
I don't want to say lazy, but it's another word, and
Yes.
when you stop reporting and you stop communicating with your officer, that's when you have troubles. So it's
Exactly.
very important with parole, which is the same as probation, maybe a little more strict. You have to keep them informed where you are, what you're doing. You have to report, go to your programs. You know what to do.
Yeah, that's a very, very open. I like to go to my meetings. I have
Good.
tablet but it was misunderstanding the problem I had with my probation.
Yeah.
It was something it was something different. It was because I was living with my daughter's house and they
Right.
having problem. They were fighting. And I
Right.
didn't want to tell the probation officer about that because that's her privacy. And
I understand,
that's
but there's
why
a
I had to
different
come
way.
back.
There's a different way. You could have said, I
Yes.
have to move for private reasons or something.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
and
you.
where does your marriage stand now?
Excuse me?
Are you still married?
No, I'm getting the divorce. We're doing the divorce paper, but we still talking.
Okay.
We're talking about because he had my little 17 years old and we are okay to get the relationship with
Co-parent.
my daughter. Yeah,
Right.
me and my daughter, we still have together.
Good. Well, listen, divorce can be stressful, right? So
Yes.
don't be afraid to reach out for help when you need it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
very good.
yeah, that's fine.
Ms. Zappa?
No other questions.
Okay. Do we need to deliberate? I mean, this is a pretty straightforward case. Exactly.
Halfway house, mental health evaluation.
Yeah. I have a general no contact with, the underlying, with LPS permission, the violation of protective order, and the DV because she never did that while she was on probation. Anything else?
Yeah.
All right. In the matter of Maria Hernandez, inmate number 373814, I'll make a
Yes.
motion to grant parole on or after today, December 20th, 2024, with the following conditions. You'll parole to a halfway house. You'll
Yes,
participate in a mental health evaluation and treatment if they think it's necessary. You're to have no contact with initials JJ without your parole officer's permission. You need the permission of your parole officer, okay? And the
okay,
domestic violence program. The domestic violence program is because of the violation of protective order.
Second.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
no, I don't. I really
right.
appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much.
We wish you the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
This
Thank
concludes
you.
Maria Hernandez, inmate number 37. Okay, Ms. Hernandez, you're all set. Yes, right in about a week.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Wait for us. Thank you. Sorry.
Good morning. My name is Parole Officer Sportsford. Today is Friday, December 2024. This is the United Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. Following board members are present this morning and by stating their names on the record. Certify they have reviewed all statutory required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Mike Pohl.
And I'm Ellen Zappo Sasso.
Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Brandy Davis, 271344.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of a parole application for Brandy Davis, inmate number 271344. She's serving a sentence of 6 years for criminal possession of ammunition and possession with intent. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility date of November 22nd, 2024. There is no victim info in the case. There is an offender accountability plan that has been reviewed and shows that she has completed people empowering people in a job and is currently participating in Tier 4 program. Utilizing the women's risk needs assessment one of the offender overall score for recidivating falls within the moderate range. Ms. Davis, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
When I first came here, I was broken and I was full of grief and guilt and shame. When I got here, I was presented with a big obstacle. In 2006, my father was murdered, and the girl who was responsible for his murder is actually here serving sentence. I didn't realize how grief-stricken I really was because I wasn't able to process my grief properly, being a drug addict. And I seen this girl, and with the help of the counselors here at this facility, I was able to forgive her and move on. That was a big part of my substance abuse issues, feeling the guilt and the grief behind my dad's murder. Our lifestyle kind of put him in harm's way, and I held a lot of guilt for that. But I took the Houses of Healing course, which is a self-forgiveness course. And instead of saying that my dad died because of me, I say my dad died for me. I rewrote the story because I didn't invite these people there. And I feel like me giving her forgiveness has taken a big burden off of me. I also never did a Tier 4 program before. I have 5 classes left, so I have about 2.5 weeks left until I complete this program. I have learned a lot about trauma.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I've completed the People Empowering People course. I did the 5 ventures. I came in 2nd place. That is a course that's offered here through Claremont University. And my business plan was a mobile dog spa called Pampered Paws. When I did this course, I learned a lot about myself. I also learned a lot about how to talk about my criminal history when interviewing and things like that. So that will give me an edge up when I go out there to get a job. I have a relapse prevention plan, something that I've never had in the past. I didn't know what a safety net was. And when I was given an opportunity before, I took advantage of it. I got a good career. I was working at Sharp Capital in Newington, Connecticut. My office closed on March 16th of 2020. And because of COVID, I kind of reverted back to old behaviors and I relapsed. That's basically where we're at up until today. I've done everything they've asked me to do here and then some. I think I'm a good candidate because not only do I plan on relocating, but I do have a good safety net. I've rebuilt bonds with family members, my children, and my mother. I plan on going to Florida to get a new start. I also have a good friend down there who works at Tropicana, has been there for 4 years, and plans on getting me in there. So I do have a job lined up, and I'm ready to, be a member of society, productive.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Davis, for that statement. We have some questions for you, okay?
Yes.
And then we'll deliberate and give you our decision. So the RT screen says she completed tier 4 in 12/12. That's weird, but you're still in
Yeah.
the program, tier 4.
Well, I'm doing the relapse prevention part.
So you finished the program, but you stayed
yes.
on to do additional
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, I'm staying on. I'm actually a mentor in the program. I'm an elder and I help the new girls coming in.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. It's very helpful.
Thank you.
We need mentors and elders. That's awesome. All right. So Ms. Davis, you gave us a lot of information. You actually answered some of the questions I had about the DEFY program, the grief and loss, and I really did appreciate your explanation and you sharing about the experience with your father's death and the person responsible being there. I mean, that certainly indicates some growth. That's huge.
Yes.
It's very clear that your offenses are all drug related.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your drug of choice?
Cocaine.
Okay. Have you had problems with alcohol as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you did have a couple offenses in the past that looked like they were alcohol related.
I had one DUI that I went and did the alcohol education classes and they wiped it off my record or whatever. And then I did the 6 months with the breathalyzer in my car. I never had an issue with that. And then I've never had another incident with drinking and driving or anything like that.
Okay, good.
I actually haven't had a drink in a long, long time.
Okay. All right. So you just fall back on the crack cocaine.
Yeah.
All right. So you were on federal probation at the time of your offense. That sentence has since ended, right? You had a violation of probation.
Yeah, they gave me a concurrent time and my time was up as of December 9th.
Yep. Okay. So good. You don't have to worry about that. You do have a flat sentence. So we'd like to offer you supervision so that you have the support. You mentioned going to Florida. You mentioned a friend, a job. I thought it was a boyfriend. Am I wrong?
It is a boyfriend.
Okay.
But he's been my best friend for 23 years. And
okay.
Yes. It never really ended up working out because my drug use,
Right.
And I was in an unhealthy relationship. I always chose the bad boys. And I'm 46 years old now and, I'm different. I'm not the same person.
Okay.
I don't want to be lonely.
I did read that it's like an on and off type of relationship. So where do you stand now?
Well, right now we have agreed to be friends and to see what happens. So, but he's one of my biggest supporters.
Yeah. I mean, you have to work on yourself, right? You have to focus on yourself. Yeah. It's great that you have that support and like you said, your mom is there and if you can get in with Tropicana, that's great company to be with. So that would be awesome. You did mention your relapse prevention plan. Have you looked into services in Florida already?
Yeah, he's actually Googled some stuff down there. I also plan on still being involved with CCAR because I'm doing their Recovery Coach Academy. As long as I start one of their classes, which my first one, I've done the pre-training, but the academy starts on January 3rd. Then I could do something through them over Zoom.
Oh, so you would still deal with the Connecticut recovery program, but over Zoom.
Yes,
wow.
That's so I could get my recovery coach. Yeah, my recovery coach, so that way I can help other people that have struggled like me. Because nobody's ever came up to me. I didn't even know a recovery coach existed. I knew something like that, existed. Maybe I would have been able to utilize that.
And it is a newer thing. Have you done meetings in the past?
I've done meetings. Yes, I've done meetings. I've done a lot of stuff through CRT. I did relapse prevention and I was clean for many years. This whole COVID thing kind of messed me up. It threw me a curveball. And unfortunately, I didn't have a safety net and I reverted back to old behaviors and old people and places. And that's part of the reason why I want to leave Connecticut.
Yeah. Fresh start. I understand. Yeah. Are you in the MAP program?
Am I in what?
The MAP program?
No, I don't.
Okay. No. Okay.
No.
All right. Well, yeah, that's okay. Well, it does appear that you've learned from this incarceration and all the programming that you participated in. You did have what I consider a minor ticket in December of 22 for a phone call. You know that's against right? Yeah.
Yes.
But it sounds like you're doing well and done a lot of healing. So
yes,
I'm happy for you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Ms. Zappo?
So you answered a lot of the questions that I had, but I was hoping that you could just give a little bit more detail about the Tier 4 program and what you got out of it. When you were at Wheeler previously, you didn't like the program, so clearly it didn't work for you. What was different with Tier 4 and your mindset that made it click this time?
Well, Tier 4 is like a residential inpatient program inside the prison, you know, and they really focus on trauma, where Wheeler didn't really focus on any kind of trauma and things that may have caused me to become the way that I was. And this is something different. Like I learned a lot about my grief and that I didn't get to grieve properly. I also learned about the shame and guilt that I was holding, you know, about being absent from my kid's life and things like that. We actually do in Tier 4, we do this assignment where we have to talk to our parents. And that was really hard for me because I had to sit and look at a chair that was empty and talk to my dad and tell him how grateful I am for him, that I'm given a second chance because, you know, he made it possible, you know, and the trauma that came with the stuff that I witnessed growing up, violence between my parents and domestic abuse, you know, it made me a stronger person today because I know that those are things that I don't want in my life, and I don't want to be in unhealthy relationships. And when I was out there, I was kind of looking for love in all the wrong places. And these are things that I was actually able to be honest with myself about and come to the group and talk to and feel safe about talking to everything that I've been through with these other ladies who actually are not that much different from me. And, you know, I really thought that I was alone and that things that only happened to me, but that's not the case.
So I think your plans to relocate to Florida for a fresh start are meaningful, and I think that that's a great idea. But what happens if you're in Florida and you and your best friend have a falling out or you have a fight with your mother? Are you prepared to seek support and a safety net elsewhere so that you can maintain your sobriety and continue on your path?
Yeah, I actually have more family members down there besides my mom, my aunts down there, my cousins. Like most of my mother's whole side of the family lives down there now. So I have a bigger support system than just my friend and my mother. So that's a good thing. And, you know, CCAR is always just a phone call away, and they have links with other states, even though CCAR is not in Florida. I've done my research on this. They have known programs down there that they can link me up with. I plan on doing some kind of not just Zoom programs. I want to go in person to relapse prevention and things like that. So that way, you know, I have a good start and I could build my own safety net down there, you know, with new people who are clean and sober, and have, you know, people who are professionals that can help me and assist me in anything that, you know, that might come up. Because like the curveball that I was thrown for COVID, you know, I can't say that none of this would ever happen if COVID's never happened, because I loved my career, you know, my job. My job was great, and I was making good money. My first year home from federal prison, I made $55,000 on the books. That's unheard of, my probation officer told me, you know, so I was doing well. There's also capital companies in Florida that Sharp Capital works with, McKenzie Capital and things like that. So there are other options for me besides Tropicana if I want to go back into that field of frontline underwriting. And, you know, I'm really good at that.
What is your status with your children?
So me and my son are really good. My daughter, this is another story. She's a daddy's girl. I went to prison when she was 2. I got out when she was 14. So my relationship with her was parenting through prison from a distance. And when I was in Danbury Federal Prison, they would come to visit me. So, you know, I established a relationship. I basically met her because she was so young when I went away. She didn't remember me. Her father didn't let me see her for a few years. So when she was 7, she came to visit me again. But because I came back to prison, she feels like I chose things over her, and she's not really budging. So she doesn't want to hear the talk. She wants to see the walk. So.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Mr. Paul.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Ms. Davis, there's 93 AA meetings in just Bradenton, Florida on a weekly basis.
Okay.
That's crazy, right?
That's good. Yeah.
So that's good. I'm glad that you've done the work that you've done, and you know, get down there and continue to do the work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. So it's very clear, Ms. Davis has done a lot of work on herself. She's expressed insight, tools that she's gained. She has a support system in place, a positive release plan that includes relocating, and she's researched the supports in Florida. And I think, given the flat sentence, she certainly could use our supervision and support. And I think she's ready to go out there and try things a different way this time. Ms. Zappa, what are your thoughts?
I agree.
Mr. Fulton? All right, so for conditions, I have interstate, halfway house, mental health eval and treatment, no co-defendant, and no alcohol. Anything different or else? All right. In the matter of Brandy Davis, inmate number 271344, I'll move to grant parole on or after today, December 20th, 2024, with the following additional conditions. You'll parole to the interstate unit for Florida, halfway house if it's necessary, no contact with your co-defendant Richard Charette, a mental health evaluation and treatment if it's deemed necessary, and no alcohol consumption while you're on parole. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Keep working on yourself. You're doing great. We wish you the best.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Happy holidays.
You too.
Thank you.
Brandy Davis.
Morning.
Can we get your name, please?
Aaron Rosario.
Good morning. My name is Parole Officer Boyce. Today is Friday, December 20th, 2024. This hearing in Connecticut Court of Parties Parole. Following board members are present this morning by stating their names on the record and certified they reviewed all statutory required documents and available for information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Mike Pohl.
And I'm Ellen Zappo Sasser.
Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Aaron Rosario, 440864.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of parole application for Aaron Rosario, inmate number 440864. She is serving a sentence of 3 years for 2 counts of sales of narcotics. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility date of January 30th, 2025. There is no victim input in the case. There is an offender accountability plan that has been reviewed and shows that the offender is complete people, empowering people in Tier 4. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment, Werner, the offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the below range. Mr. Rosario, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Okay. Because I'm a changed person. I've grown. I found an interest in life again. I'm happy. Before I was depressed, embarrassed, and ashamed of what I had become and how I spiraled out of control. I was an addict at my rock bottom. I was 100 pounds soaking wet when I crawled through these doors 16 months ago. I suffered from major depressive disorder, anxiety, PTSD, as well as ADHD. I was off my medications and self-medicating. I was using crack cocaine, the same drugs that I was selling to support my habit. I went from being a happily married mother climbing the corporate ladder to being a broke, jobless drug addict, putting the needs of my new friends before anything else, which left me lifeless. I was the lowest I've ever been. When I think about where I was mentally before I came to jail, I thought no one knew I was high. It makes me want to cry because I can think about is the hours I spent in the bathroom while my son sat in the living room calling for me to play. Or my mom crying because she was downstairs alone, realizing she was losing her mind while she did nothing but worry about me, making her dementia progress just a little bit faster from the stress of watching me get arrested and preparing for me to go away. I was anything but functioning. I try not to let the guilt consume me. I have a few relationships that are in need of repairing, like the one with my sister. I can only hope that they see the change in me and think I'm worthy of another chance. Seeing the damage I did to myself, I realize I did to others. Today, I'm not the same person. I'm mentally, emotionally, and spiritually stronger. I'm a whole lot healthier. I know this is an experience I had to go through, just like going to college or making a career for myself. It's a stepping stone. It molded me and changed me. I've learned so much from this big, scary chapter, and I'm ready to move on. I'm excited for my future. I'm excited for my goals. I'm excited to be a present mother and wife. I have a loving, supporting family who needs me. My mother needs me. My husband needs me. My kids need me. I taught my Camden and Aiden a very valuable lesson that even their mother makes mistakes. And as long as we hold ourselves accountable and correct our actions, we'll get another chance to do right. While I've been incarcerated, I've managed to start and register with the state my own nonprofit organization called Here For You. I learned how to crochet, and with the help of other women, have made 50 bags to sell to the public, with the proceeds going to my homeless in my community. I want to give back to my community instead of take away from it. I want to help and support my community. More importantly is the work I've done on myself. Though I've had a couple of hiccups along the way, I've taken advantage of the programs York has to offer. I successfully completed PEP and Houses of Healing with one more class to go. I've completed the Marilyn Baker program, and through the duration, I became an elder. I'm enrolled in CCAR training to become a recovery coach. I chair and co-chair fellow weekly fellowship meetings. I'm a big part of the Big Sister, Little Sister program and have coached 6 little sisters. I worked for the outreach program with outside clearance, working off premises 3 days a week. I'm going to get my OSHA 10 license. I'm in school to get my CDL permit, scheduled for January 22nd. I could potentially be one of the first women to get their permit in the history of York. I attend CLIC, which is a parenting group. I've attended all different kinds of therapy sessions, art therapy, Sister Staying Strong, coping and recovery. I volunteer to work in the greenhouse most Thursdays, and I'm a backup worker at the stables.
Wow.
I also wrote a book of business ideas that range from opening a bounce house business called Bounce Back to opening a machine shop for a patent pending motorcycle seat. The possibilities and opportunities are endless. I believe my world has slowed down so I can rediscover myself. And I feel I can do better outside of these walls than within. This is why I believe I'm eligible as a good candidate for parole. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rosario, for your statement. You offered us so much information. That is great. You're doing some good stuff there. Okay, we have questions for you, and when we're done with our questions, we'll deliberate and give you our decision. You ready?
I'm ready.
Ms. Zappa?
Thank you, Ms. Rosario. That was a very thoughtful statement in terms of your journey and this chapter, as you call it, the scary chapter. It made me think about like a piece of art that has shattered on the floor and people try to piece it back together in order to make it beautiful again. And I think you're doing a great job. One of the concerns that I had was you received a significant number of support letters for your hearing today from family and from friends who really painted a different picture of you than what we read, you know, when you're in your offense stage.
Yeah.
But one of my concerns is as you rebuild yourself and you have this safety net, your relationship with your husband, you talk about in your reports that that's why you started using. Yes. So how is he doing today? What is the status of your relationship? One person referenced a divorce. You call him your husband. I'm concerned about how that's going to impact you moving forward.
Through my incarceration, we have rekindled our relationship. We worked on it. He's doing great. He's a fabulous father. He is a huge support for me while I've been incarcerated. We've had troubles in the past. We were separated for 3 years prior to me coming to prison. But but we are working through our issues. We have a plan to go to marriage counseling when I do get home. And we just want to make it work for our family and for ourselves.
Is he in recovery now as well?
Yes, he's sober, 100%.
Okay. Really, you covered all my other questions.
Thank you, Ms. Neville. Mr. Paul?
Thank you.
Just, so I'm interested in the CDL program that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So you're testing for that when?
January 22nd.
Okay. And that, if you transition, like say you got community release or something like that prior to that date, what happens?
Then I can take it on my own, which I would be willing to do, definitely. And then from there, I would go enroll into school to do the driving part of schooling.
Okay.
So to get my actual license.
Okay. And so in terms of employment, because obviously you have a lot of choices to make.
I do have a lot of choices.
You know, and that's pretty awesome, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So
I agree.
do you think CDL is ultimately something that you're going to choose?
I think
Become
down
a
the
driver?
road, when my kids get a little bit bigger, that I definitely would love to drive cross country and deliver parts or whatever it is that I would be delivering as an option. Where I can always work for a company, a CDL company doing their books, or I can do dispatching. There's lots of avenues that I could do with my CDL license.
Okay. And that's, I'm good.
Thank you. So you had a few disciplinary reports that I think we need to talk about. Can you explain the contraband tickets?
Yes, I had Wellbutrin on me, and when I got strip searched, they did a drug test, and I had Suboxone in my system. This was last year, so I was fairly new to prison. I was still in an addictive state of mind, but since I've been sober, I went into the Maryland Baker program. I've learned my coping skills and
Okay, so you admit you were still using then?
yes.
Okay, all right, and I appreciate that. And then this year you had a telephone call
Yes.
with an inmate at another facility. What was the relationship to that person?
I was on the phone. I really don't know them very well. I was on the phone with a friend and I didn't realize he had third party to call in. By the time I did realize it, I had already finished with the phone call. So I should have hung up. I didn't.
Understood. Okay. Thank you for the explanations. What is the outside clearance job that you're working now?
For the outreach program, we go to the beach or go to the fire stations. We've cleaned up the beach. We clean up the break room on site. We painted and sanded the backstops to the baseball field next door.
So are these like state parks you're visiting?
Yep. Yes.
Ah, nice.
Yes.
And what is your work schedule? How often are you working?
Typically 2 to 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays.
Okay. And you're out all day?
Yep, till about 2:30. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very
Yes.
nice. Okay. You mentioned the CLICK program. I'm familiar with the program. So you read books with your children? Is that how it works?
Yep. They just got us, they just selected their books, so we haven't started reading with them yet, but so far within the group, we've, made cards for our kids or just had discussions, open discussions, so.
Very nice. What does CLICK stand for? What's the acronym?
Oh, gosh.
Put you on the spot here.
You did, I didn't write
It's
it out.
CLICC.
Yes.
I don't know. Something. children of literacy, incarcerated, blah, 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 blah. All right, I was just curious if you knew because I can't recall. Trying to educate all of us here a little bit, but you've done a lot of great work. And you have, it sounds like you've gained a lot of tools that you can take with you out in the community. And I certainly hope whatever happens with your marriage, that you're now prepared to ask for help and support if you need it.
I am.
Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
very good. Thank you. We're going to deliberate briefly now, okay? Ms.
Okay.
Zappa?
I think with Ms. Rosario's lack of criminal history
Mhm.
and the programmatic piece of what she's accomplished while at York
Yeah.
makes her eligible. I only had her marked for a mental health evaluation and treatment.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's anything else to be discussed.
Thank you. No, I agree. Mr. Paul?
I'm absolutely there, especially since she's in the acting through literacy incarcerated parents, the children and caregivers.
Yes.
That's a great program for her to be in.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, in the matter of Aaron Rosario, inmate number 440864, I'll move to grant parole effective January 30th, 2025, with the additional condition of a mental health evaluation and treatment if it's deemed necessary. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you so
All
much.
right, keep working.
Thank
Wish you the
you.
best.
Thank you very much.
This concludes hearing for Aaron Rosario. Zero cases.
Oh.
Can you get your name?
Jessica Raymond?
Thank you. We'll do it in 1 second.
Okay.
She does not look like a picture.
All right. Good morning. My name is Parole Officer Voice. Today is Friday, December 20th, 2024. This hearing in Connecticut Board of Parole. Following board members present this morning, by stating their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutory required documents and available for information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Morning, Lake Pool.
Good morning. I'm Ellen Zappo Sasu.
Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Jessica Raymond, 437418.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Jessica
Disconnected. It's been disconnected. Do I have to get?
Disconnected.
Oh, that is having some issues.
Okay, so just hold on.
Oh, yeah, there's two connected. They're just having issues on my end.
Okay. So just hold on.
Yeah.
Good. I have to go back in January. I think these are. Still not. On hold, which just says on hold. How how long you been? You talked to them at all?
I talked to him, yeah,
And
then just like, I don't know.
just know if I can, I don't know, I don't wanna mess anything up. Let me see. Call back in. Came back later.
How about pay?
I got nothing in there.
I talked to him for like a minute and then That was it.
And then you've been there this whole time?
Mm. He told me I had to sit here.
I know you did. So it's all back, face the problem. That's right. No. He's money. Damn screaming. See if you go around with anything else. You always want them. Tell Mr. B that I would visit. Right, I mean, you can help me, you're not even home there, it's not like. I think it would be, wait, screen moved, the things changed.
Yes, it
Right?
did. Yeah. Up one way.
They're back.
No.
What's happening? They no, they moved and now they're back. There was movement, so somebody is doing something. They moved side by side, right?
Mm-hmm, I seen
And
it.
then they went back. There's no like circle of death like on the iPhone. Just
Yeah.
looking at that. Damn it. Oops up.
Mm-hmm.
Because hopefully she can go on and get it by 11:30. Don't be doing that shit that you go in there and tell them no, because that's not gonna work for me. That happened last time and I got in trouble and I got fucking. I guess with the you should What's there? I mean, right, if I don't make it today, I don't get a second chance. Depending on the person and the situation. So next time. Fucked up with mine. I've never been a vacation. Probation is a setup, and that's why I took flat time. Well, depending on how long you're out there, and depending on what you do. I'm gonna be out there for more than a year on parole, and I don't plan on fucking it up. I've seen you coming right back. I can behave myself for a year. Don't want to go away. So, I got 3 years out of 5 years on probation, very well. Anyway, hey, that's it, whatever you want to say. Damn it. Not doing anything anymore, right?
No. Of course it would break when I'm in here. I said, of course it would break when I'm in here.
My luck. Tends to be, it'll be a bad movie if it should happen.
Maybe they'll be nice and. The worst thing about it, it says live.
What?
It says live under my picture, so they're just sitting here watching me sit here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
They know you have patience.
I guess so.
Don't think it's far and showing live streaming already. Yeah.
Mhm.
Can use a chow.
Half an hour, and 15 minutes before we can't get back to the market. I'm tired. Still got nothing. For a minute, got me all excited. Like, weird thing again. Sorry.
Good morning. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
We are having some network issues over at our building, so we disconnected, but we're trying to get back up and running to move forward with your hearing at the moment.
Okay.
Let me just get our panel set up.
Okay.
Connecticut. What's it? The dude, it's the lady who owns the.
Okay, thank you. We apologize, Ms. Raymond, for the delay.
That's okay.
We're having technical difficulties here. So where we left off was you were about to tell us why you believe you should be granted parole.
Like make a statement, my
Sure.
statement? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, since I arrived at York Correctional, I started working on rebuilding myself. So I got a job being a handicap aide. Since my victim was elderly, I thought it would help to take care of someone else also elderly. So I could grasp the daily struggle for older people. My person was wheelchair bound, so I was responsible to take care of her, take her everywhere, medical, chow hall, church, and so on. I cleaned her cell for her and made her bed and bring her hot water for food and coffee. I also was her emotional support. It was difficult to be responsible for someone else, and I know she didn't like being dependent on someone. but I stuck it out until she went home. It was my first 5 months here. It felt good to be her support. After she left, I started working in commissary to build on stability and employment. I did get a ticket for helping my bunkie. I called her family, so I couldn't work for 4 months. I learned my lesson real quick, not to put myself in a situation like that again. I learned that I need to focus on helping myself and not try to rescue someone else. I did get my job back in commissary. I've been working there for 1.5 years. I truly believe that I've been a good, stable worker and a big asset to them, and I give my best every day. I haven't missed one day since I started. I've steadily climbed positions, and I'm a trusted worker. I have completed my OAP. I have completed Voices in Tier 2. Voices had me see the victim's point of view and reflect on the damage I caused, that it goes beyond me and the victim and how many other people are affected. I've caused so much pain on both sides that it wasn't necessary. Tier 2 helped me with addiction, part of rebuilding myself. It had me go back to my childhood to see where it started. It gave me tools to avoid relapsing. It explained that I need to build a strong support system. I feel I've prepared my family for my return home, and they have agreed to be my support. I have my 4 kids, Haley 16, Trent 17, Kyle 20, and Troy 22. I also have my longtime boyfriend of almost 15 years. I have 2 sisters and my uncle. I also know the AA schedule near the church near my house, so I could start going there as often as possible. I also have my therapist from Community Health and Wellness. I can start my trauma therapy again and weekly appointments to keep up with my mental health. I believe since I've been at York, I have done much self-work, and I plan on continuing when I get home. I plan on getting a job also to help build me a positive schedule. I'm going to see if my old job at Food Town in New Hartford will hire me back. If not, I can find a job closer to home, Fabric Shop, CVS, Dollar General, or I could check into getting a factory job. In commissary, I learned to use a forklift, and it might open doors for me. In conclusion, I believe that I have used my time here to better myself and to work through a lot of baggage. I know when I leave here, I have a chance to change my path, not only for myself, but my family. I would really like to have the chance to start my new life. I believe I should get parole so I can continue rebuilding my life. I know I can be an upstanding citizen like I was prior to my mental breakdown. I'm no longer a threat to anyone. I've taken this very serious. I even started naltrexone and the Vivitrol shot for alcohol issues. I feel confident and ready for the community.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Raymond, for your statement. You offered us a lot of information, and we appreciate that. We do have some questions for you. When we're done with our questions, we'll deliberate and give you our decision.
Okay, thank you.
We'll begin with my colleague, Mr. Pohl.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Ms. Raymond. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing pretty good.
All right, good. Can you I missed something when you were sharing, the first 5 months you were caring for an inmate. What was the name of that position?
A handicap aid.
Handicap aid.
Handicap aid. And certainly, based upon your offense, how do you think that helped you?
Well, I never had anything against any. I never been violent towards anybody, but I think it kind of helped me, understand that they're kind of, older people are, defenseless, and especially when you surprise them with what happened, it kind of, it's hard to explain. But I think it helped me understand that, they're defenseless, and that, I'm sorry, that it really made me see that, I should be helping people, not hurting them too much.
I mean, and that's a big thing, because she was 77 years old,
Yes.
and facing challenges and stuff like that, you know? And then you, you know, during your incarceration, you were able to like help someone that was in a similar kind of situation, you know?
Yeah,
So that's a really good thing, because there's nothing better to learn from our mistakes than to actually be involved in something that's close, you know, and in a
Yeah.
solution type thing. So that's great. And so you shared about tier 2. I really appreciate your comment on voices, and you're able to see things from the victim's perspective, which is really important. You know, you certainly hear the you know, the AA schedule
yes.
there, and that's a beautiful church up there. You
First
talking
church
about
I
meetings
did,
at, like,
yeah.
the second congregational church there?
Yeah, well, it's the first church in Winston. I believe they have the Wednesday night groups, 8 o'clock. But they also have some there too, I believe.
Right.
Mhm.
There's that church right on 44 that they have meetings at.
Okay, yep.
It's a pretty church.
Yeah, it
Just
is.
noticed it driving through the town last weekend. And you have a couple leads, Food Town, where you might be able to get back to working again. And it's great that you have forklift experience now.
Yeah.
So, so that's a big thing. And, you know, things are going well with you on the naltrexone and the Vivitrol.
Yes, they're gonna give me the shot the day that I leave. I didn't take an naltrexone for about 6 months now, I wanna say. I've been on that. So, yeah, it's been going pretty good. I feel confident with it, and I kind of like you know, it's on the back of my mind, kind of like you know, it'll deter me. It's what it definitely will help with.
Right. It helps, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And you wanted to get into counseling as well, which
Yeah, I was in counseling at the Community Health and Wellness in Torrington and in Winston. So I do have a doctor there that I can go back to and continue my treatment with that.
okay. And just so you know, I don't you know that you have a New York non-extraditable warrant for trespassing that you should kind of get cleaned up, so you got nothing hanging on your head, right?
Yes, okay.
All right.
Yes.
I don't have anything further, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr.
Happy with where she is.
Thank you. Ms. Raymond, you did say that you've never been a violent person, but both of these offenses involve violence. I mean, it was very concerning. Where did this level of anger come from?
I went through a mental breakdown. I had severe grief. I lost 5 of my family members really close together. My mother, my father, my sister, my brother, and my stepfather, like in a very short period of time. And at the time, I wasn't on, you know, my mental health meds, and I quit methadone after 11 years, and then I started drinking in place of it, and it just proceedingly got worse. And that, I guess I was angry, a lot to do with, you know, losing my family, and I wasn't doing good with a positive, you know, trying to make a positive out of it. It was kind of opposite.
Okay. All right. And the man that you actually went to the elderly woman's home to see, was that someone that you were in a relationship with at the time?
No, he was a friend of mine. No.
Okay.
He had my phone and my wallet in his car. I guess that's why I went. But once I got there, that's when I kind of blacked out and don't really know exactly what happened after that.
No, I did read that, but I thought I read about a different boyfriend at the time of the offenses as well. Were you on a break
Yes.
from your, oh.
Yeah, it was kind of part of my mental breakdown.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were
But you've since
separated.
reconciled with your long-term partner.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Well, and I'm sorry for your losses. That is a very tragic situation, and
It was.
this is a very hard lesson to learn, but it sounds like you do have supports in place for
Yes.
any future times of loss, right?
Yeah.
Because these things, of course, happen, but it sounds like you have a really good release plan as well. You're aware there's a protective order in place for the other victims in the
Yes,
assault
yeah.
third case. What was your relationship to them?
They were drinking partner, buddies, I guess, like, we
Yeah.
just drank a lot.
Okay, all right.
So
Understand.
definitely won't be around them.
Yeah, no, that's probably a good idea. Okay, thank you. Ms. Zappa?
Yes, so my question to you is, you have a very solid release plan. It sounds like you've thought through a lot of what your options are, especially with the mental health and the substance misuse being intertwined. But you
Yeah.
are going back to Winstead. So talk to me about what you think your risks are in going back to there and how you're going to manage them so that you
Well,
don't get back into the cycle.
So, prior to my breakdown, I was an upstanding citizen. The police in Winston, I worked at Cumberland Farms third shift for 5 years. You know, I had a really good standing with them. They looked out for me. They wrote me letters of reference for, obtaining housing and stuff like that. So I have that to think about, and I know how to live a sober and honest life. So that was hopefully just a leap in my, life there. I know how to live a positive life, and I feel confident. I don't like running from my problems. I just need to learn from them and keep going. I know the police have put up with a lot of stuff over that short period of time, but they did it because they knew me before all that happened. So I feel confident that I can, keep up with being, a decent person. And I know a lot of jobs around there. I know everybody around there. So I know who to stay away from and who's safe to be around. It's a small town, so.
Yeah, it is. So, and I guess that was part of my concern, but it sounds like you do realize that you have to be aware of those situations. Do you find that this time, if you feel yourself slipping, like what happened with your grief patterns and everything else, do you feel more likely that you're going to ask for help before it gets too bad?
Yes, I definitely will need to ask for help. That's been an issue for me, was not being able to ask for help. But I have since learned that I do need help, and I can't expect myself to just take on the burden by myself. I have kids and they look up to me, so I need to, keep that forefront, and them to know that it's okay to ask for help,
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so it looks like the discretionary period is about 3 months. Do I have the right eligibility date, 1/9/25?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Give us a few minutes to discuss your case and we'll come back to our decision. Mr. Paul?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Certainly the offenses, as was pointed out, were somewhat violent in nature on both of them. I think what she's done during incarceration has helped her to understand.
Yeah.
And actually have a firsthand seat in turning that around with what she did as a handicap aide to begin with, and how that interfaced with the 77-year-old burglary first victim.
Yeah.
She's done while she's taken programs that are important. She's had solid work in the commissary and earned some recognition through that. I fully believe that she's gonna be okay. If we let her back out there and she pays attention to what she needs to along the lines of the questions that board member Zappa Sasu, asked, you know, that's really
Yeah.
important. So I would support her for that.
Thank you. I would agree. Ms. Zappa?
I
All
agree.
right. Let's see. We have a whole bunch of conditions here. In the matter of Jessica Raymond, inmate number 437418, I'll move to grant parole on or after January 9th, 2025 with the following conditions. You're not to have contact with the victim's family member initials DB,
Okay.
no alcohol consumption. You'll participate in mental health treatment with medication compliance. General no contact with initials BH or SM. Is there anything else?
So I have
Okay, is there a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you have questions, ma'am?
No,
All right, okay, keep working on yourself. We wish you the best.
thank you so much.
This concludes the hearing for Jessica Raymond, inmate number 437418.
Good morning.
What do you want?
Now you're.
Can we get your name?
Kiana Little.
Just one Good morning. My name is Parole Officer Boyce for today's Friday, December 20th, 2024. This hearing of Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. Following board members present this morning by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information for preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Mike Paul.
And I'm Ellen Sasso.
Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Kiana Little, 441077.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Kiana Little, inmate number 441077. She is serving a sentence of 10 years, suspended after 30 months with 10 years probation for sexual assault second. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of November 24th, 2024. There is no victim input in the case. There is a defender accountability plan that is reviewed and shows she has completed Tier 2 and the short-term sex offender program. Utilizing the women's risk needs assessment board of the offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the moderate range. Ms. Little, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Well, I had prepared a statement. I hope the board had received it. Honestly, I really took this year to, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I apologize real quick. Utilizing the women's risk needs assessment, the offender's overall score is in the low range, not moderate.
Thank you.
I took this year to reflect. I'm actually grateful for this year that I've had. I needed to refocus, redirect my life, the decisions I was making, the path that I was on. I took advantage of every resources I had here while at York. I've enrolled myself. I've self-educated myself. I went to every peer counseling. I went to every group meeting. I received my CDL here. So really, I took in this time, this full year, to just totally reflect on what happened, what occurred. I'm 45 years old, and I've never had a problem with the legal system. And I was spiraling. I will admit that I was spiraling. What I've learned is that to take responsibility for the actions and for the things that I've done is acknowledging and the ability to respond to what I've done. So I responded, and I've sought the therapy that I need. I'm still ongoing therapy. I'm going to be a lifelong learner. I've never had a problem with the criminal justice system. Matter of fact, I'm educated in the justice system, which is why it's very ironic why I just spiraled. It was just at a bad decision in my life, but I'm ready. I'm refocused. I have a host of family support. I already am signed up with CCAR. I do have therapy that will occur when I'm here. I do have a career to fall back on. I've had numerous careers, so where I should decide as far as employment, I have many options. I have a sponsor, Jennifer Reed, who I've been talking to, who's waiting for me upon release. Upon release, I will be going with my daughter. I would like to reestablish my relationship with my children, continue therapy on myself, and just redirect my path and my focus into life.
All right, Ms. Little, thank you for your statement. We do have questions for you, and when we're done, we'll deliberate, okay?
Okay.
So, Ms. Little, you, as you said, you're not a young person, right? You're an adult. You have adult children, in fact, of your own. You're educated. You've never been in trouble before, but you obviously knew what you were doing was wrong. So I'm interested in knowing how you got to that point. Like, why did you do this?
At the time, I won't totally blame alcohol because it was my decision to drink, but I was at a spiral in my life, and alcohol was just my morning, noon, and night. It was my Band-Aid, it was my camouflage, and of course, it led me to make extremely poor decisions. I come from an alcoholic family on my father's side, and that's something that I said I would never do, but I ended up self-medicating. I'll be honest, I ended up self-medicating instead of seeking real therapy. And the way I grew up and in my family, going to see a therapist was a faux pas. It was something you don't do, something that was frowned upon. It was a sign of weakness. So that's how I grew up. I'm 45, like I said. So therapy wasn't an option. We were keep your things, keep your business suppressed, deal with it on your own. So that's what I've learned to do as of growing up. But when I became of age to begin to work and take accountability, I began to start seeking that outside therapy, seeking outside resources to help me cope, to help me deal with life's pressures. I'm also a victim of abuse, and to become an abuser, it's just, I can't give you a definitive answer. All I can say is I did it. If I could change time, I would totally make that decision over. I would have sought help immediately when I felt that my drinking had become a problem. I didn't do that. I waited until it was the point of no return.
Okay. So you didn't take the Voices program, or I don't think you did. You didn't, right?
Well, I've been on that program since I've been enlisted here. I was told that there's a long wait list.
Okay.
I even have statements where they said I'd probably be paroled or in a halfway house before I'm even offered that. But everything else I took advantage.
I understand, but okay, so you haven't taken the program, but what have you learned about who your offense impacted?
I learned I took the sexual behavior therapy course with Dr. Sheffel. It's an extreme impact. It's an impact I should have, as an adult, I didn't set the boundaries that should have been set initially when I saw that the relationship between the juvenile and myself were becoming more too personal. I felt that I was getting through to the victim. He was relating to me. I didn't draw the line when they began to call me auntie, or when they began to look up to me as an authoritative figure. I
don't think they looked at you as an authoritative figure, because they wouldn't ask an authoritative figure for alcohol or any sexual contact. That's not what an authoritative figure provides. But I'm going to redirect you because you're getting away from my question. Who did your offense impact?
Do you want the name of the victim?
No, in general.
Oh,
okay, obviously the victim.
It affected my victim, of course, my children. No, my children, my family, but most importantly, it affected me.
It affected, I mean, you betrayed the trust of so many people. So that
I know.
The place where you were working, those children's parents, I mean, they're a lot, the community at large. Voices would teach you that the impact, it's a ripple effect.
I understand that.
Okay.
I understand that. I take full accountability and responsibility, like I said.
Yeah. So what are your plans? You mentioned job opportunities. Where do you plan to work?
Well, prior to coming here, I've had like I said, I'm very educated. I planned on returning back to Howard K. Hill Funeral Services, but since I've been here, I did take the CDL driving course. I would like to pursue that career, but I also have education in catering, criminal justice, administration.
So do you have a job waiting? I guess I'm asking you specifically. Where do you plan to work?
I plan to return to the funeral home service that I was in before I got here.
Okay, and what do you do there?
I'm a greeter.
Okay, and they're willing to give you your job back?
Well, as far as when I left, yes.
Okay, all right. And what type of programming or treatment do you think you need in the community?
In the community, of course, I'm going to continue to be involved with my local church. I'm already signed up for CCAR. Jennifer Reed is my sponsor there. I plan on doing that. I want to do some more self-therapy within my community. So that's something I will have to look into. I'm not sure what's available now. I've been here for over 15 months. I've had therapy before, but it was more so rehabilitation therapy as far as alcoholism and things like that. But I need some more reflective therapy.
And what about treatment for problem sexual behavior?
I think I would probably pursue that as well. I would like to get.
It would be one of your conditions.
Oh, that's
you understand
fine.
it would be required.
I have no problem with that.
Do you think you could benefit from it?
I think I will. Absolutely.
Okay. Are your children aware of the complete circumstances of your offense?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
With the exception of my 11-year-old, he doesn't know the in-depth details of that, but he does know why I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you for speaking with me. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Ms. Apple. Thank you.
So in my estimation, you've had some statements and you've addressed some of them here today, but one that stuck with me in your interview, Ms. Little, is that you said you were drinking up until the time you were incarcerated and that you were not in need of treatment because you, quote, it was a mistake and it never happened before. Alcohol played a role in it and I should have known better. I mean, I think your offense is greater than just a simple lapse of judgment and that you should have known better. It's far reaching and it affected a minor. It affected their family. There's emotional damage there. So I know that you too perceive yourself as a victim, but there's multiple other victims based on your actions. And I'm concerned about the risk factor of you going back into the community and not being adequately able to manage those risks. Treatment is great, but I think you need more than just that. I think that you need to have a pretty strong support system. And I'd like you to talk a little bit about what the role of your family is and what that release plan looks like once you get back into the community.
Well, my family consists, I have a very, very extremely large family. I'm the baby of, well, the youngest of 3 siblings. One of my sisters has 11 children and grandchildren. My other sister has a child and grandchildren. I have 4 children. So I have over 40 people in my immediate family. I really don't, outside of my immediate family, I don't communicate with my other family, extended family, which live in the state of New Jersey. Like I said, I've reached out to seek therapy with Jennifer Reed, she's been very active since May. I talk to her on a tablet on a weekly basis. She's there for me and will assist me in my reentry plan. I also completed the 5 Ventures since I've been here. The 5 Ventures is an entrepreneurship program which will help me regain employment, housing, and assistance that I need to reestablish myself as a returning citizen. I totally have the backbone of my church family, my religious organizations, which I did was not active as I should have at the time of the offense. So I'm prepared. I have resources. Like I said, I don't plan to end my therapy here. I'm still in therapy. I still go to group. I don't plan to end that. I think I'm going to be continued in that. I think that's something that everybody needs. So I do plan on seeking the continual sexual abuse therapy, not only for my victim and understanding my victim, but also I'm an adult. I'm not going to call myself a victim anymore because that happened when I was a child, but I know what my actions had the effect on another person. And I really would like to learn more about how this can be prevented. Why did I even, I really cannot tell you why I did it. All I can determine now is what do I do from here? It happened, it occurred. How do I correct this behavior? Is this a behavior that will happen, continue to happen? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But why? And preventative therapy, that's what I want to seek for myself. I just want to continue therapeutic for my own mental health and well-being, as well as my family.
So one of the challenges that I think you're going to face is the no contact with minors, which will most likely be part of a conditional release. So you've talked about your church, you've talked about your family with nephews and nieces. That's going to be something that you're going to have to navigate and reach out and ask for support and guidance from your probation and parole systems. And do you feel like you're going to be comfortable to be able to do that?
Yes, actually, I'm not sure if you are aware, I did file a motion, which I was just granted, that I can have supervised visitation with my biological grandson. That was just awarded from the courts last month. But we did address because I have a large family, and the judge did say I I will be able to come back. He wants to see how I do while I'm out, and see how the conditions will be. But as far as my son and my grandson, that's contact. And as far as my role as with my family being it so large, it will always be supervised. My sisters both agreed that they will be the middle person.
I'm gonna interrupt.
where-
Do you
yeah.
understand conditions of parole are very different from court orders?
Yes, I understand that.
So
I understand
if we give you a condition that you can't have contact with minors, it doesn't matter what the court said. Those are different. You understand that?
Yes, but but I am allowed to see my grandson. I am allowed to
If
see
your
my
parole
child.
officer says you can't, then you can't.
Oh, yes, I understand that, but that's why I'm going through these steps to make sure it's okay.
Right, but what I'm telling you is if we tell you here today it's not okay, then you can't. The court order does not override parole conditions. I want you to know they're very separate processes.
Okay, that's fine.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm done.
Oh, okay, thank you. Mr. Paul.
I think what I want to explore a little further is what your recovery plan looks like.
My recovery plan? Well, I have no longer been drinking. I haven't been in contact with anyone. I just plan on continuing to seek therapy, continue to raise my child, I have to reestablish myself. I have to get an apartment. I have to get employment.
Let's dial it back a little bit. What is your recovery plan?
Continue therapy. Therapy, of course. I need to have someone I can talk to.
And that's it.
Therapy and the support of my family. Yes.
So it's hard for me to believe that with you talking about the relationship that you have with Jennifer Reed, that therapy is the only thing that you're going to give. Right? So alcohol was a big part of this.
Yeah.
You, right?
Yes, sir.
So the thing is that you going to therapy, where does the pro-social support come from that you need in order to continue to maintain recovery?
Maintain recovery. I plan on continue the rehabilitation of not use of alcohol. You reach out to my resources of my sponsor, like I said, Jennifer Reed. Reach out when I feel that I don't have, as of right now, since I've been here, an urgency or a need. I see what alcohol, it's destroyed my whole life. I definitely don't plan to continue that. So my support is I'm going to reach out to my community. That's all I have is my community, my family, and my own moral judgments. And my God, I mean, no one else can make.
You've referred to Jennifer Reed as your sponsor a few times. Well, talk to me about that.
She's helped me with the condition as far as mental health. Am I thinking about drinking? What do I do? What stressors? What have I done here? What has my focus been? How do I respond in stressful situations? So she's pretty much been like her, with the exception of the counselors in here. I'm sorry.
I said, the chair asked me if I knew of Jennifer Reed, and I do. She's with CCAR.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like I said, as far as that, I'm gonna continue to reach out to my community. I'm gonna do some continue some AA therapy, even, just in case. It's just a precaution.
Therapy as a catch-all phrase. AA is not therapy. Yeah, that's the issue. Okay.
So
what's the issue? I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to understand your recovery plan.
Right.
And what the chair just said was that you're using therapy as a catch-all phrase. Because like you just said, AA therapy.
Well, recovery is not to do what I did to get myself here. Recovery is taking each day and living each day personal truths and making right decisions. I mean, having a therapist there to guide me is just an extra precaution, but rehabilitation, that's something I believe that that's the decision I have to make. I have to take responsibility for myself, my actions. I can't have someone holding my hand saying, telling me what to do. I have to do that. I have to make these steps. If I need help, I need to reach out. So as far as what I plan to do, I plan on raising my child. I plan on gaining employment, reestablishing my life,
Right.
and becoming a successful member of society.
I think that part of it, Ms. Little, is that there's a strong sense of you being in control of it all. That's kind of like what I'm hearing. And so one of the big things with dealing with substance use is humility.
Yes, sir.
And it's like, not if I, right? It's, if I were in your seat and I was coming out here, I'd be finding out from Jennifer Reed, where are some good meetings that I could be at? Where are some good women's meetings that I could be at?
Absolutely. That's exactly what we're discussing. I've even attended Rushford prior to this, I put myself in a 30-day program.
Yeah,
so of course, this is all a part of the process that she's going to help me work through, where I can get adequate therapy, women's group support system, support team. Yes. She's going to be my coach to help me to enroll in those programs. And of course, any conditions that you feel that might benefit me, of course, I will absolutely comply with what the Department of Justice, the Department of Corrections, or even the judge, whatever you think that I need, I am willing to do to get back out there and become a productive member of my society.
Right. I don't have anything.
Thank you. Ms. Little, are you an alcoholic?
No, not anymore. But people say that alcoholism is a lifelong.
Right.
I don't consider it lifelong. No, I was alcoholic then. I am not an alcoholic now.
Are you a recovering alcoholic?
I am a recovering alcoholic.
Right. So you're using a lot of terms and intertwining a lot of different things. And that's why I interrupted my colleague before to try to separate some things out. And I did the same to my other colleagues. So I apologize to both of you. But do you plan to attend therapy?
Absolutely.
Do you have a therapist?
I think it's necessary. Yes.
Who's your
therapist? It's necessary. I'm going to go through Jennifer Reed, like I said, as far as the alcoholism. Jennifer Reed is not a. I know she's CCAR. I understand that she's CCAR. I was in Blake Street in Westville, Connecticut. I don't know what's available out there right now. I know when I was going, the therapist I had was just for alcohol. I want just not for alcohol. I want therapy for the entire person, not just for rehabilitation. And that's something I have to seek through my Husky program.
Well, and they are very separate things, which is what we're trying to tell you.
Right.
There's a recovery coach, there's AA, there's a sponsor, there's individual therapy. They're very separate things.
Right. I understand that. But I will have to find those separate entities according to my healthcare plan, what is covered to do. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what's available out there. I've been here for 14 months.
If you get parole, you'll have the assistance of a parole officer. You have 10 years of probation, so you'll have the assistance of a probation officer.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Zappa? I just want to go back to your interview with your parole officer in preparation for today. He notes in the report that you were not able to identify any risks that you may face upon release. Have you had an opportunity to rethink that? Because along the lines of the questions we're asking you, all of this is intertwined with how to respond to risks. What's that responsivity?
How to respond to risk is...
Well, identifying the risks first is the first
piece. I understand. The first piece is I know I'm going to be very restricted. I'm going to be very limited. The risk is I'm going to face alcoholism. I'm going to face community resistance. I know I'm going to face trust issues with people. I know employment might be an issue, but like I said, I have a employer that's willing to take me back. I have to regain totally everything within my community, even with my family. You know, I have to get them acquainted and accustomed with, this is how my life is now. This is how I will need to be monitored when I'm around you. I can't just do this and I can't just do that. I have to seek permission. I know everything, it has to come before my parole officer before I can do anything. I understand that. So it's just explaining to who I'm around and pretty much not being around, not putting myself in risk situations. As long as I can avoid not being in riskful situations, which I've never had that problem before. I work, I'm home with my family. I'm not a community oriented person. So it's just a matter of modifying how my relationships is with my family members and reaching out to the community to see what one-on-one therapy, with all these different paths of therapy that I need to seek and sponsorship and groups and things like that, I have to fit that all in within my lifespan, within 24 hours of the day or the week. It's an adjustment. I admit I will have to make those necessary adjustments, because if it's necessary, it's necessary. It's not an if, it's a certainty.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Little, give us a few minutes to discuss your case. We're going to deliberate and we'll give you our decision very shortly, okay?
Yes.
All right, so Ms. Little has taken programming. She clearly has support and she has some plan for when she goes in the community. There's some minimization here, definitely. I think she believes she knows more than she actually does about recovery, addiction, sexual offenses. And I think there's some denial too, right? Maybe she doesn't want to accept really where she is in her life and what she's done. There's a lot of work left to be done here. A lot of work. But I believe with the help of parole and then 10 years of probation that she can get there. I think she's done all that she can do within the walls of York. And I would be willing to grant parole today so that she can go out and continue the very necessary work in the community. Ms. Zappo.
I didn't see the level of offender change that I was hoping to from a woman who has this level of education, but I think that's also something that's holding her back, as you said, that she seems to have all the answers. I think it's going to be interesting. You're not going to be in control over the next 10 years, and I think you have to acknowledge that, and you're only going to be successful if you accept the support and acknowledge the needs that you're going to have in order to be successful. So I will agree to support the discretionary parole because of the probation of 10 years. I think that if it was anything less than that, I might be hesitant to do so.
Mr. Paul?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too would support parole in this case. All of the concerns that you both shared, I have the same concerns.
Yeah.
And I hope that, part of going to treatment for problem sexual behavior is going to be a mental health component.
Right.
And I really think that that's something that's needed here.
Yeah.
Because, it's just things that we've been talking about are wrong thinking kind of things,
Yep.
But I would support that.
Thank you. All right. So I have a victim, JDP, no minors, no alcohol, problem sexual behavior treatment, mental health evaluation. Anything else?
That's it.
And just, as noted, she's on the registry for 10 years as well.
Yep. Okay, in the matter of Kiana Little, inmate number 441077, I'll move to grant parole effective today, December 20th, 2024, with the following additional conditions. No contact with your victim, initials JDP. No contact with minors without the express permission of your parole officer. No minors. No consumption of alcoholic beverages, problem sexual behavior treatment in the community, and a mental health evaluation and treatment if it's deemed necessary.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you so much.
All right, keep working on yourself.
I
Wish you
definitely
the best.
will. So I guess I'll get more information later.
Yeah, someone will
Okay.
reach out to you. Yeah, it won't be
Okay.
today, obviously,
Okay.
but, okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
This concludes hearing for Kiana Little in 441. Can we get your name, please?
Kyler Katrell.
Great, we'll be with you in 1 second. Good, is that on? Yeah. All right, good morning. My name is Parole Officer Boyce. For today is Friday, December 20th, 2024. This hearing of Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. The following board members present this morning by stating their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available for information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Mike Poole.
And I'm Ellen Zappo-Sasso.
Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Kyler Katrell, 432-505.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Kyler Katrell, inmate number 432-505. Case serving sentence 4 years for failure to prove second, 2 counts of violation of probation, larceny for 6 of the underlying offenses. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility February 23rd, 2024. There is no victim in the case. There is an unaccounted plan and has been reviewed. She has completed Voices Tier 2 of job and is currently participating in the Smart Recovery Program. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment Order, the offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the moderate range. This is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Well, first, I just want to thank you guys for giving me another opportunity to get things right this time. So after last time, I was a little upset, obviously, but I actually realized that it worked to my advantage because I don't think I was really ready to leave before I wanted to, but I don't think I was.
Good, nice.
So I completed tier 2 like I was asked. I still go to the groups like the self-esteem group and the groups that they run in the dorms. But you know, my biggest thing was trying to figure out what I was gonna do when I left here because I didn't know where I was gonna go. So I'm gonna go to a halfway house and I'm not sure which one. So I started to make plans for both in case, you know, I go to one and not the other. The biggest thing is figuring out how I'm gonna address my mental health and my addiction issues. I think that a lot of the places nowadays offer dual diagnosis. So after having my mom do some research, obviously, on the different places available, I came to land on, if I go to Hartford, I would be going to Inner Community. I think they have a dual diagnosis program there, or possibly the Wheeler Clinic, depending on which one can get me in first, really. And if I go to New Haven, I would go back to MCCA. I'm already affiliated with them from when I was in Danbury. I found out that there is a Women for Weldings program in Hartford that's run through a local union, and they offer you apprenticeship, and you can get a paid apprenticeship, and you can get certified in welding with potential for a job afterwards.
Nice.
In New Haven, there's a program that pays you to take the program for manufacturing, and it certifies you for that. I'm going to try to find a job, but what I did before, I don't think I'm going to be able to do anymore. I worked with children, and it's kind of hard to do that with a record. So I think it's time to change my career path, you know? And obviously, I'm not sure of the one-on-one therapy is in the area, but I know I want to get myself into CBT and DBT skills groups or one-on-one therapy. And I figured that the clinics that I go to will be able to refer me to a private therapist that I need to be in therapy weekly, if not twice a week. I know that much. And I will attend NA or AA meetings, whichever is in the area. I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you so much for your statement. This is a rehear. You were before us earlier this year. We do have some additional questions for you, and when we're done, we'll deliberate and give you our decision. Okay?
Yeah.
We'll start with my colleague, Ms. Zappa.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Cottrell. You answered a lot of the questions that were laid out for the rehear. It sounds like you have a very substantive release plan with a lot of details to it. You completed tier 2. I wasn't here for your first hearing, but I am seeing some acknowledgement of change in terms of even just talking about your new career paths and what you've researched to do that. So, and you've had no disciplinary tickets.
No, I remained ticket free and write-up free the whole time.
Okay, so I think all of this is moving in a very positive direction for you. So I'm going to ask you to define one other area of challenge, and so you can tell me how you're going to overcome that. And that is the fact that in your previous interactions with the criminal justice system, you had 3 violations of probation. So how are you going to use the next 6 months, if you're granted, to actually use them as a resource and continue on this path that you've laid out for yourself?
I'm sorry, I'm a little bit confused by the question.
You failed probationary community support.
Yes.
3 times. So you were not using the support offered to you at that time. How is that going to be different now that you've laid out this plan of how you want your life to be different?
Well, the difference between this time and last time I was stubborn and I didn't know how to ask for help when I felt myself slipping. And this time I feel like I've had a lot of time to think and work on myself, and I know that it's not a weakness to be needing help from somebody, to ask somebody for help. So I think that would pretty much be, I know to ask for help if I feel myself slipping. I've also learned the signs of what it's like when I feel myself slipping.
So who are you going to ask for help? Give me the short list.
Well, I have my mom, I have my old sponsor that's in a different area, but I can still pick up the phone. I'll have my therapy people, I have my parole officer. I have my aunt, I have my cousin, I have family.
That's a pretty long list of supports if you're willing to utilize them.
Correct.
So you've talked about your, what I would call a relapse prevention plan for individual therapy. Are you on any medication management plans right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean? Like methadone or something like that? Or like mental health meds?
We'll just leave it at meds in general. We don't want to talk about your.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you see that you're going to continue that.
100%. Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's all the questions I have.
Thank you, Ms. Apple. Mr. Paul?
Thank you. Just real quick, you know, you've been doing smart recovery.
Yes.
How's that going?
I really like it. I like it a lot better than the AA program, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know if they offer any meetings on the outside, but I'm going to look into that when I leave.
So also look online.
Right.
Because there's meetings online, there's smart recovery meetings online.
Perfect.
But that's
Thank you.
really good program.
Yeah.
That offers, right?
It's more, I
realistic.
feel like it's more practical. Yeah.
It's like what's going on right now and what are my options, right?
Right. Exactly.
Helps you think?
It does. It makes you look outside the box a little bit. I like it.
Important.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Thank you. Mr. Cottrell, you've done really well since your last hearing, and I appreciate the fact that you say you were not yet prepared to be released at your last hearing. Yeah, I hope you'll take advantage. I know you're asking for a halfway house. Take advantage of the time there to save your money, because we don't want to see you homeless again. You know, that don't want that cycle to keep repeating itself, and take advantage of the time on parole. You know, you will have some time because you're not done until 26. So get all the help that you can while you can, and it's offered to you.
100%.
Right. Give us a few minutes to talk about your case, and we'll get back to you shortly with our decision.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Zappa?
I think that Ms. Cottrell has presented very well this morning.
Yeah.
She's completed tier 2. She has kept up her program participation and appears to be getting a lot out of that. She's remained ticket free. Her release plan is very detailed as it relates to her need for continued therapy. She's noted dual diagnosis concerns and wanting to pursue that in terms of where she's going to receive treatment. And she's noted that she needs additional resources within the community, as well as developed a plan to look at alternate forms of careers in both of the potential areas where she will land for halfway house placement. So in light of all of this and the fact that she will have some supervision, I think that she is suitable for release.
Okay. What conditions do you propose?
I have mental health evaluation and treatment, and I didn't write down any others because I didn't see alcohol as an issue.
No, just a halfway house. She's a
Halfway house, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Thank you.
Brief.
You good? Okay. All righty. Okay. In the matter of Kyler Katrell, inmate number 432505, I'll move to grant parole effective today, December 20th, 2024, with the following additional conditions. Halfway house placement and a mental health evaluation and treatment if deemed necessary.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you have any questions?
Just one. When I
Yeah.
spoke with Mr. Boysford, I had just
Yeah.
put down Hartford as my only choice. Can I put New Haven down too? So I have 2 choices. Is that
Can we do
possible?
that? Yes, yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
All
you
right.
guys.
Wish you
Have
the
a good-
best.
Happy holidays.
You too.
This concludes the hearing for Kyler Katrell, inmate number 432505.
How do you do that?
Morning, my name is Parole Officer Boyce for today's Friday, December 20th, 2024. This is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Departments of Parole. Following board members are present this morning by stating their names on the record. Certified they reviewed all statutory required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, I'm Jennifer Zappanini.
Good morning, Mike Pohl.
And I'm Ellen Zappo Sasu.
Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Good morning, my name is Ashley Brunstein, 366-298.
Thank you. This is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Ashley Brunstein, inmate number 366298. She is serving a sentence of 28 months for violation of probation with interfering, resisting, criminal mischief third, and disorderly conduct as the underlying offenses. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility date November 20th, 2024. There is no victim input in the case. There's an offender accountability plan that is to review to ensure the offenders complete the beyond violence program. Utilize the women's risk needs assessment board of the offender's overall score for recidivism falls within the median range. Mr. Braunstein, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
So I know you guys probably never heard this before, but I'm actually glad that I came to jail because it gave me an opportunity to realize what I've done to myself. And it's also made me refocus myself. It's also made me get back to recovery, being sober, working on my mental health that I wasn't working on, making myself realize like there's more to life than there is to being in the streets and having a lifestyle that I was having. Because when I was growing up, from being my parents, they were drug addicts and alcoholics, and my whole life I was around that. I was also a foster child. I was in and out of foster homes. I didn't have a stable housing. I didn't have stable parents. So I didn't have a good stable life. So I wasn't raised properly. I pretty much raised myself. And it got to the point where I was so used to being in an environment that I thought that was just the lifestyle I should have. So I just kept being in that environment. And then I ended up getting into relationships that were very abusive. I ended up being mentally, physically, and emotionally abused and thinking that that was okay, and it wasn't. I also had children of my own that I thought I could be a mother, that I thought would help, but it didn't. I kept going down the wrong path. And honestly, I'm 33 years old. And right now, I really just want a better life than what I did have, because I did destroy my life doing drugs and being in the streets and choosing men that I chose. It destroyed me. I also, I could be dead. I could be, more worse than what I am now, or I could have gotten more charges worse than what I have now. But I'm glad that I came here. I did complete beyond violence. I did do job as a main dining, food prep. I have a job right now doing trash in North Dorm. I am trying to get my GED because I also want to become a vet with animals. I do right now, I do a lot of art. So I actually have like this project that I want to do when I get out is to own my own art store and have it for like kids to come and make it to where like they make their own arts, and I try to like sell little art projects out because I like to color too. I do very, very good at coloring. A lot of people in my unit like it, and they buy my pictures and stuff. So like right now, I have a bunch of people wanting me to do color pictures for Christmas and stuff. So
But other than that, I was in the Reliance House program, in Norwich, but, Norwich is also the bad area that I will not go back to, because that's my place that it's not good for me. So I will not be going there because I don't want to go back down to the path that I did. But when I do get out, I will be continuing doing NA meetings. I have a bunch of papers with a bunch of lists on them. I know I signed up to go to a halfway house. I don't know which one I'm going to yet. I know I did New Haven and Hartford. I know there's a bunch of NA programs out there for that. I signed up for the Wheeler program. I talked to a lady from there. And I'm gonna try to get back into the Reliance House program though, once I get out there, because they also I had housing with them. But because I got incarcerated, they had to discharge me. So I kind of lost that, but I'm gonna try to see if I can get it back, but I don't know. But because I'm so familiar with them that I'm gonna try. But if not, I'll figure out with this other program or some other programs.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Braunstein, for your opening statement. You gave us a lot of information to consider. Appreciate that. We're going to ask you some questions, and when we're done, we'll deliberate and give you our decision.
Okay.
We'll begin with my colleague, Mr. Pohl.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I echo the chair's comments. You've given us a lot of information, and there's some clarification I'd like on a couple of things. So where are you when it comes to alcohol?
I'm really not an alcoholic, actually. It does run in my family though. My mother and my father were.
So let me ask you a question then. So when some of this occurred, weren't you like in a blackout?
Yes, I was.
What kind of blackout was it?
Well,
What were you using?
I was drinking alcohol, I will admit, but I don't have like a bad problem with it. It's just I was with the person that I was with in the relationship. We were trying to fix things, and we figured we would drink together and have a fun time together. It was supposed to be, and he wanted to drink, and I was like, all right, sure, I'll drink with you. And it turned out to be more than what it was. I was drinking Captain Morgan that night, and I didn't know, I guess drinking Captain Morgan wasn't good for me. But usually I never have a problem. I don't even drink alcohol like that. It was mainly drugs. It was crack cocaine.
Right, but that social drinkers don't black out, right?
Yeah, and I think it was because I drank a lot. I know I was smoking marijuana too that night. I didn't do anything else though, but we did drink a lot. I will admit to that.
So and the other piece is that, crack and like what else is going on when you're smoking crack?
Well, that was after, when I started doing the crack situation was way after that happened. That whole situation happened.
Right.
I started doing that because I was going through a lot of emotions and a lot of situations. I had lost a lot of family members. I've lost a lot of people when all the heroin situation was going on. I lost a lot of people from that. I lost my best friend from that. I lost my aunt. I found her dead. So instead of trying to use other coping skills, I decided to numb myself, actually. It's not that I wanted to get high or anything like that. I was just numbing my pain because I didn't know what else to do. That's how I knew how to deal with my emotions.
Okay, so, and because I listened very intently at your opening remarks, you know where you come from,
Right,
right? So you
Yes.
know where you learn how to do that,
yes,
right?
yes.
So let me just go a little further. You had the opportunity to be in the premier substance use program that DOC has.
Yes,
And you took yourself out of that. My understanding is because well, I don't even want to go to my understanding. You took yourself out of that. Why?
are you talking about the program in here?
Yes.
Okay, the Marilyn Baker program, I left because honestly, it's a good program, but the situations that they do there, I didn't feel comfortable. Like talking about certain things from my past, I didn't feel comfortable. Certain situations about things that have happened to me, like I had to bring up things of when I got raped and when I've got molested that I never wanted to talk about again. Things that it's just personal things that I've never wanted to bring up that they made me talk about. And it's just the way that the program is themselves. Like, it's just, I didn't feel comfortable at all.
Okay. So one thing I want to remind you of is that we're live streaming. So just be
Yes,
cognizant
I
of that.
know.
Okay?
I know.
So I'm not going to dig down into stuff, right?
Okay.
So, however, one of the catalysts for using it, and to feel like we need to be numb, is because of past traumas, right?
Right.
So it's like, and often that stuff comes up, and what do? Do we deal with it, or do we cut and run? And when we cut and run, is it crack? Is it alcohol? Or is it something else? Because I need to feel numb again, right? And I'm not being critical. Don't take it like that. Not, right? But one of the things that we need to look at is that you can be successful in the community if you're put out on parole, right? And so, that's important. One of the things, if you're granted parole today, I'm sure one of the things that we're going to put as a stipulation is mental health evaluation and treatment is deemed necessary, right?
Yes.
An opportunity to get in there and to deal with that, right? But I want to go a little bit further here because you were talked about NA meetings, and you
Yes.
said that you have lists of things. What lists are you talking about?
When I was in the Marilyn Baker program, they had people to come and visit us to do NA groups, and they gave us like pamphlets and stuff like that of the places that do NA groups.
Okay.
So I have pamphlets of those. I also had a family member print out some stuff of the lists of places that also more places out in like New Haven and Hartford. Huh?
Like meeting lists.
Yes, meeting lists. Yes.
Okay.
Because I told them
mean,
I don't know which places I'm gonna be. I don't know if I'm gonna be in New Haven or I'm gonna be in Hartford. So that way because I do want to keep doing the NA meetings. So that way I can get a sponsor and get the help that I need to stay sober.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's incredibly important.
It is to me, honestly. That's one of the things I've been really trying to stay focused on is staying sober because I really don't want to fall back. I know in the beginning I was, you know, up and down on staying sober and staying on completing things and getting myself to where I was supposed to be now today. But I'm ready now. I think it's time for me to get my life together.
Oh, certainly it's about asking for help, about staying connected.
Yeah, and that was one thing I will admit that my whole entire life, even when I was a child and a teenager, just growing up because of all of just the whole lifestyle I had, it was it's very hard. I mean, sometimes a little bit right now, it's hard for me to ask for help. Because I've always done everything on my own. I've always been on my own. Even growing up, I've never, it's been hard. I've had so many walls that have been up that I've slowly put down. And it's very hard for me to trust people. I've put up a lot of boundaries too, also because of all the situations I've been in. But I am working on the asking for help because, you know, it's not, I thought it was a bad thing to ask for help. But because that's just the lifestyle I was taught, you know, so, but I am working on that.
So, and then just the last thing is, along the lines of that, on your tablet, it's an icon for CCAR.
CCAR, okay.
And CCAR offers recovery coaches.
Okay.
And recovery coaches are people with lived experience in the community that you're going to.
Okay.
That know what the resources are.
Okay.
Right? Because if you go to New Haven, it's a lot of meetings. You know?
Yeah, I heard.
And they'll know like what's the best meetings for me. You know? And they know from lived experience. Right?
Okay.
There's a recovery community center there. You get a chance to be around people that are trying when it comes to recovery. You know, and it's right downtown. It's not that far from halfway houses and such that are in the area. So, you know, it's really important. You know, the stuff that you're dealing with, you know, I get why Marilyn Baker didn't work out for you. You know, there's other roads to get that done, but you can't walk away from it, right? Walking away from it leads to use leads to incarceration.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. That's all I have mentioned.
Thank you. Ms. Braunstein, so who are your positive supports?
Right now I have my sister, my aunt, and my mother.
Okay. And they're aware of everything that you're going through?
Yes.
You're open and honest with them?
Yeah.
Okay. Where do we stand with the boyfriend?
The one with this whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I have no ties with that.
Do you have a new boyfriend?
The new one right now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's good. Devon, he's really a good support for me.
And how long have you known him?
I've known him for 2 years now.
Okay. Is he in recovery?
No, he's not a drug addict or anything like that. He actually works at Hard Rocks in Foxwoods. He's a cook. He's a father. A single father. He takes care of his kids. He doesn't do no drugs, nothing like that.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Braunstein, why did you stop going to treatment when you were on probation?
That's when I was going through all the losses, and that's around the time I believe when COVID hit, and it hit pretty hard in my life. Also, I was going through that whole situation with with Andre. I just was, it was a bad time in my life, and that's when I started using a lot more than what I was doing.
And that's when you need the most support, right?
Yes, and I chose to push everybody away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you share children with him?
I do not.
Okay, all right. Very good. Thank you. Ms. Zappa?
So my concern in listening to this is, again, appreciating that you are not a fit for the Marilyn Baker program, but yet we do have an addiction services referral on your action plan. And it appears that you've tried several programs in the community that weren't successful. And I'm just concerned that without having that foundation, going back out into the community is going to be difficult for you. So what does that look like in terms of what are you able to commit to for therapy and substance abuse prevention if you're out?
I mean, I am gonna try to get back into the Reliance House, like I said. I know I just joined the Wheeler program, and like he said, I can do the CCAR, is that what he said? I am gonna be looking, as soon as I get out and get into the therapy program, I am gonna be getting on that phone and looking up for therapy and getting into mental health treatment. Because I also need to keep going on my medication. I don't know if they're gonna give me whatever amount when I leave here, but I need to keep staying on my medication also, because that is one of my ultimate other things that I am trying to stay on is my mental health. Because also, since I've been in here, they've got me on the right medication and it's been working. So I am gonna try to stay focused on with those those important things, because right now those are the two important things in my life that I need to be focusing on. I know if the Reliance House does accept me, they do therapy and they do manage medication. So I'm gonna tell them that I really need to have that in my life.
Is the Reliance House elsewhere other than in Norwich, where you've already identified that as a risk?
I believe they have one in New Haven. I'm not quite sure, but if they tell me that they can't deal with me until I leave the halfway house, then I'm just gonna stick with the Wheeler program, because I also believe the lady did tell me that they do therapy and they help with the medications. So once I leave the halfway house and I complete the halfway house, I'm gonna go and get into the Reliance House and move out towards this way and get back into their program, like transfer back into their program. But I think they have a program out in New Haven. I believe so.
Okay. And in terms of potential jobs, you noted something about working at a restaurant or your sister being able to help you with employment at a Dunkin' Donuts. Is any of that firmed up?
Yes, Devon said he will try to get me in there. I have to just fill out the application once I get out. My sister, I don't know, she hasn't been answering the phone lately. So, but I know as soon as I get to the halfway house, once I get settled in, I was gonna start going out and seeing if I'm able to leave and go look for a job.
And then I just have a curious question, because in the beginning statement, you talked about some of your childhood trauma. And now you're noticing that your mother is going to be one of your supports. What dynamic?
No, my adopted mother, my biological, I was adopted. I'm sorry. I forgot to say that.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no parts with my biological mother. It's my adopted mother. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Zappa. Okay. Ready to deliberate? Give us a few minutes to discuss your case and we'll get back to you shortly with our decision. Mr. Parole.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Braunstein is serving a 28-month platform. Certainly, I was concerned about leaving Marilyn Baker with a substance use program. She explained that. And I understand it. She's also, set herself up with her discharge plan to seek support in the community for both substance use and mental health related issues. she's done well. And I believe that the support of a halfway house for the last year or so of her incarceration period would be helpful to her. And I would support parole in this case.
Thank you. I agree, Ms. Ethel.
I mean, I am concerned her score for substance abuse is a 4.
Mhm.
She hasn't taken a tier program. So I guess we're just gonna hope for the best in terms of her accessing treatment. I do see that she's acknowledged it, but I'm just concerned that she's going to be in the community without the appropriate support that she may have gleaned from a program other than Marilyn Baker.
I'm not quite sure it's hoping for the best. I think they'll do the Parole and Community Services will do a substance abuse evaluation and recommend services for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then mental health evaluation.
Yeah. Have
I
that.
would do treatment with medication plans. Yeah,
I
yeah.
really think that she's open to
Yeah.
doing what she needs to do. It's just the public nature of the Marilyn Baker program
Right.
and what she has to deal with was difficult.
Yeah.
I do understand that. It's just there's crack cocaine and
Yeah.
alcohol to a certain degree. But yeah, I mean, I think that the programs that are in place, if she uses them, she will be successful.
Yeah. All right, in the matter of Ashley Brunstein, inmate number 366298, a move to grant parole effective today, December 20th, 2024, with the following additional conditions. A general no contact with initials AW. Mental health treatment with medication compliance. You'll parole to a halfway house. Do you want to do no alcohol? No alcohol, no, you didn't. No alcohol consumption and a domestic violence program in the community. You didn't do that, right? You weren't able to finish it while you were on probation?
No, but I did do a Beyond Violence program in here. I completed it.
Inside. This is a continuation of it on the outside.
Oh, okay, okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, do you have questions, ma'am?
No, just
No.
thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and I swear I will not let you guys down.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
For Ashley Brunstein, inmate number 366298. Good morning. My name is Parole Officer Boyce. For today is Friday, December 20th, 2024. This is hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. Following board members are present this morning. And by stating their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good afternoon, I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good afternoon, Mike Paul.
And I'm Ellen Zappo-Sasu.
Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Ebony Thomas, 424920.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Ebony Thomas, inmate number 424920. She is serving a sentence of 10 years suspended after 4 years with 5 years probation for risk of injury. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of April 7th, 2024. There is no victim input in the case. There is an offender accountability plan that has been reviewed and shows that the offender is currently participating in the short-term sex offender program. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment, where the offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the moderate range. Ms. Thomas, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
So in the beginning, when I first had got incarcerated, I was very in denial about the case. I didn't want to take accountability for it. I felt like I did nothing wrong. After months of being incarcerated, I had time to sit with myself and come to conclusion that my part in it was as bad as it seemed, and I took accountability for it. obviously, like being sober, it was more so I focused more so on what I did wrong. At the time when the event happened, I obviously wasn't sober. So I feel like I just wasn't being an adult about the situation and owning up to what I did wrong. Since then, I've been in here. I feel like it was a good thing for me to come in here because being out there could have been a worse situation. The 27th will be 2 years I've been in here. So did a lot of programming. I've been in school since I've been here. I was in GED at first, and then they just switched me over to high school diploma. So when I first came in, I had 4 credits. I'm now on 10 credits. I've got a certificate from finishing business ed because that was one of the classes I was taking this semester. And I've just honestly like been staying out the way to myself and just trying to focus on the right things.
Okay, thank you. We have some questions for you, okay? When we're done, we'll deliberate and give you our decision. Okay, so you said you came out of your denial a month after being incarcerated?
Like a couple months after.
Okay, except you had an interview with the parole officer last month.
Yep.
And you still denied committing your offense.
No,
All right.
I know that
I'll just ask you flat out, what are you responsible for? What is your part in this crime?
basically being the one who was allowing what the situation was to go on. Basically like bringing back and forth the victim to and from places, pretty much.
To and from places for what reason? What places?
Wherever she needed to go, she was basically going to meet different guys.
Okay, so your part in it was you were the driver?
Yeah.
And did you know where she was going?
Not
what
all
she
the
was planning to do?
Not all the time. And
what does
then
that
after
mean,
the
not all the
fact.
time? We're gonna have to have an open, honest, and frank discussion here.
So in the beginning, she wasn't telling me where I was taking her. After months, when she started coming back with the money, that's when she was telling me what she was doing. But me at that time, I wasn't like thinking about the consequences or like the risk or anything. I was more so just taking the money to like provide for me and what I was doing at that time, which I was doing Percocets and stuff like that. So like I wasn't really sitting there thinking about the whole situation.
So are you implying that why were you getting paid?
From bringing her to and from places. So like
so
whatever.
you're telling us that you were getting paid to drive her places.
Right.
But you were not setting up these meetings for men to have sex with this child.
Right. She had her own people. So when I would bring her, she'll basically pay me money for bringing her wherever I was bringing her.
And that's your only involvement.
Right.
So in your interview with the parole officer, you denied any knowledge of the victim's actions after you dropped them off at their destination. Do you recall that?
No.
You don't recall saying that?
No.
Last month? Huh. I mean, it appears that you're I mean, I want to say coming around, but I don't even know that that's a good enough term. But are you done with the short-term sex offender program?
Yeah, I finished that about like 3 or 4 months ago now.
Right. Okay, I do have that, September 14th. What did you learn from that program?
Basically, putting myself in the victim's shoes and seeing how she felt about the whole situation. Basically, it was more so like they would describe situations, different situations, and like we would have to sit there and put what we would have did and what we wouldn't have did. basically stuff like that.
Okay. Have you read your police report?
No.
Okay. So how would you explain that your phone number and email address were linked to these prostitution advertisements and meeting setups with different men? How would you explain that?
Because they weren't using their phones. They were using my phone because they were in relationships. So they didn't want their partners to see what they were doing. So they would use my phone. I had multiple phones.
Okay, but you would know what people were saying on your phone, no?
That was for them. That phone was for them to use. I had my own personal phone. My personal
who?
phone
For who to use?
for the victim. So,
So
like that
you-
was her phone under my line because I had a
Why
phone
would
for
you
her.
pay for her to have a phone?
Because that's my baby father's niece and we all had a family plan.
Okay, and what about your email address? How do you explain that your email address being used to place these advertisements?
My email address is linked to all my phones. That's just where all my emails go to.
Oh, so you're saying these children were posting with your email address advertisements?
Yeah, because you said it was up there, correct?
Boy. All right, so you have 12. I'll move on because I'm not sure what you're taking responsibility for. You started off with you're taking responsibility, but it's very clear that you continue to deny your offense behaviors. And why would your victims, why would these young girls say that you were helping them to prostitute themselves or setting it up, actually? Why would they say that?
So one of the victims I know is the niece of my daughter's father. So me and her she was living with me at the time. She was doing whatever she was doing with somebody else. And she had started living with me. That's when she had asked me at first, can you start taking me places? I said, yeah. I wasn't asking her because I didn't care. I know that she's always going different places. And then after a while, when she had started bringing back home a lot of money, that's when my baby father was telling me, okay, ask her what she's doing. So then that's when I asked her. And then that's when I came to conclusion. But like I said, I wasn't paying attention. I was always high. So me sitting there allowing it to happen, that's what I was basically
But why would they say that you were setting these meetings up?
Oh, I don't know. One of them said that, the other one tried to make her say that it was me when it wasn't. So she told them that she took accountability. I didn't have anything to do with that. And then the one that is obviously got me in here is the one that's saying I made her.
Got me in here. You got yourself in there. Nobody got you in there. Yeah. Okay, so you have no explanation for why they would point the finger at you.
I mean, the only thing I could think of was bringing them to and from places. But other than that, I don't talk to the guys, so.
No. But okay, yeah. So are you still married now?
Yes.
And your husband had no idea that you were incarcerated?
No, not at the
Where did
beginning.
he think you were?
I didn't want nobody to know.
Where did he think you were?
Home with my mom, because that's where I was at the time. I was back and forth. And then at my own place, I had got my own apartment. And then as soon as I got my own apartment, right after, so I had posted bond on this case. I was on a GPS bracelet. I had a set curfew for 6:30. I kept violating it within my work schedules and then bringing the kids back and forth to the babysitters. So then I came back in here. So when I had got rearrested, he didn't know what I was where I was at all. And I told my mom not to tell him.
Wow. So why did you finally tell him?
Because I mean, it's been 2 years now, so I had to end up telling him where I was. And then when he found out where I was, he wanted to come up here and visit me. but I still didn't really want him or my kids coming up here because this is just not a place for them to come.
Sounds like there's a lot of work to be done, Ms. Thomas. And I really don't know how I can help you because I don't even know where to start. It's hard to talk to you about an offense when you're in fact not taking responsibility for it and you seem to have an excuse for everything. How about all these tickets? You have 12 tickets, 2 years, and they're pretty serious.
Yeah, they're all fighting.
They're not all fighting. There's a false information, there's a contraband, there's a security tampering. There are some fighting. But how do you explain all that?
So in the first year when I had got here, it wasn't really good. I was, like I said, I was mad at the world. So I was getting into a lot of problems with the girls. This one girl and after this situation, I had got burned with hot water on my chest. After that situation, I just kept on getting into fights. She has a lot of people in here. So after that, it was just like problem after problem. And then I calmed down around a certain time frame. That's when I started going back to school because I had stopped after a while. I started going back to school, staying out the way. And then the false information one was from school because I needed to leave because I had got a surgery done here. And basically it was medical problems and I didn't want to sit there and tell them my privacy. So I got in trouble for lying, saying I was going back to the unit to talk to the counselor.
I wasn't asking for details because we have those, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I was asking you why you're getting all these tickets. We see people who do not get these tickets. So I think you provided an explanation. I don't know. But do you think you've calmed down since then? Your last fighting ticket was in July.
Yeah, I beat that ticket. That was
Beat that ticket. Okay.
Yeah, because when I talked to the social worker, she said there was a ticket up there that was showing, but I had beat that ticket because I never fought back.
So you did not beat that ticket. And that's not the term we use. You were found not guilty of one in September. You were.
Okay, that's the one.
Right. I didn't even mention that one. I'm talking about the July one that you were found guilty of and you lost privileges for. All right. Well, you have 5 years of probation to follow your sentence. I would strongly recommend that you take advantage of that time. Any services and programming they have to offer you, you'll be required to do programming anyhow. But you know, I hope that you learned something from this incarceration and that you can move on and be successful in life. I'm going to hand it over to my colleagues. Ms. Zappo.
I think you asked most of the questions. I am curious, you have a 10-year-old and a 4-year-old?
Yes.
Are they boys, girls?
I have 2 girls.
Okay. So are you going to let family members give them rides like you've given rides to family members?
Absolutely not.
And have you seen them? What kind of parenting have you been doing from prison?
I talk to them every day. I've still been trying to get their visiting forms to come through, but my mom, she had like a record from a while ago, so she's not able to bring them up here, and I don't have DCF or anything like that for them to come up here. So, but I talk to them every day. Me and my mom share custody of my oldest one because I had her at 14. So me and my mom have her, and then my baby is with her father and his mom.
I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Paul.
No, thank you.
Okay. All right, give us a few minutes to deliberate and we'll get back to you shortly with our decision. All right, so Ms. Thomas, while she did complete the short-term sex offender program, I'm not sure what she gained from it. In addition, she received 12 serious disciplinary reports, continues to deny committing this offense. I just, you know, I didn't know where to go with the questioning, and I'm not sure how I can help her, so I couldn't possibly support granting parole today. This is very serious offense where young girls were being prostituted and advertised on the internet for sex. So it will be a denial for me today. Ms. Zappa?
I think that there's been poor institutional adjustment and lack of program. And I've not seen as much evidence of offender change as I would have liked. So I'm a no for today as well.
Mr. Fall?
Great.
I think the nature and circumstance is important. Inadequate offender change is fine. The program, she took the program, she just didn't really change from it. Poor institutional adjustment, certainly. All right, in the matter of Ebony Thomas, I mean, number 424920, I'll move to deny parole for the following reasons. The nature and circumstance of this offense, inadequate evidence of offender change, and poor institutional adjustment as evidenced by the disciplinary reports. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. All right, unfortunately, Ms. Thomas, we could not grant you parole today, but we wish you the best. You have 5 years of probation to follow your sentence.
Okay.
Here, Ebony Thomas,
All right. Looks like the live has ended. I do have another one coming up, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut this one down, and I'll go ahead and start up the next one. And like I said around here, it lights like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. And with that, we are out.